either of these teams are going to approach it, because forZe, they're kind of firing on all cylinders. Everybody seems to have a bit of confidence to their step.
It's going to be very interesting to see how exactly it sort of materializes, because a lot of forZe's success on the CT side was off the back of some great aggression from Jerry, as well as a lot of the ability to push in from kRaSnaL, which allowed Zorte to rotate over and be very active as well. I don't think that that's going to be there to the same extent on Mirage, because obviously, you know, it's a map where it's just a lot easier to have a varied playbook. So I'm gonna be holding my breath before I say that forZe should be able to get away with this one, make it look easy. But yeah, they're definitely favored. But if you're gonna be throwing Molotovs like that, maybe not quite so much.
Just a distraction. It's just making sound so they don't hear them running up towards short. It's all a master plan here from Jerry.
Oh, that grenade might not have been a part of it. They've been shrunk down, juicy damage dealt, and furLn on the other side is about to be boosted on, but as he's backing up over here, almost gets caught out. Shalfie, however, doesn't rail out the shot that he'd like to. They still have an opportunity to back off, but with 2 players deep inside jungle, forZe have the map as their oyster. And the question is, are you going to find a Pearl inside it?
Oh, MHL's ready for this fight as well. Jerry finally showing that deep jungle control you were talking about. And so what little X factor they may have had, they may strip away very quickly. kenzie's been brought down all the meanwhile, so Jerry no longer has support, and they're fighting these B-side players so fantastically. They line up for forLn. It's a collateral on the USP, and it's only Jerry that remains. Bomb dropped on Cat.
You don't see that every day. That's a shot with sex appeal. Jerry, though, he's going to come through with 4 over here to make it work. And right now, honestly, looks like he's just looking for any sort of kills. In the meanwhile, we'll find nothing. forLn with 3. They close it out. AGO do find themselves that first. And man, I just want to see that forLn shot again, honestly. Look at this. They can line up and... Ooh.
He was 2 HP as well. I didn't even realize how low he was. Real nice. All about as good a start as you could ask for. No bomb plant there for forZe. Very little kills as well. So AGO, clean start to the pistol. So they don't fall victim to pistols in the follow-up round. So that'd be the decider moment in Ancient. You know, albeit there were a few more upgraded pistols. Wasn't just
eternal caveat.
They've barely bought a thing here on forZe. The only kill that they got via Jerry uses that to invest in a flashbang. And that's it. That's all they got. A barrel over towards the A bomb side actually could be very
it
well
could actually
executed.
It could end up in a bomb plant. We can't also count forZe out of it over here. I know it's a different map, but I mean, this is how they closed out Ancient, so...
Well, that's what I mean. But single flash for Jerry.
Well, that flashbang will at least be able to force off Lemon from the angle. Fiku, however, is here in time to provide the support that's necessary to clean it up, not losing a single player in the process. And kenzie, well, I don't think he's about to change that. 2-0, AGO. Money built up as well because they didn't buy a single SMG into this one.
Problem with that flash is that just doesn't sail deep enough to actually do too much to Lemon. So even though he was partially blinded as it kind of sailed over his bomb site, didn't deter him from fighting these players' palace. Still enough vision there. Like you said, he had support coming as well. So nice clean start. That could all change now that the guns are out here for forZe. So mid control is on the cards here for AGO. 3 players in close proximity. The jump over from kRaSnaL was fancy and flashy, opening kill as well. Good counter utility here from the CT side. Damaging up kenzie, forcing out a smoke as well. Jerry getting an opportunity with Fiku on the jump cross. So while these players are still alive and kicking here on the side of AGO, still no casualties. Heavily damaged up.
This is still such a dangerous position for AGO to be in, with Jerry having control over here. They're providing a lot of fire out as well to try and mask out the sound of him actually getting the jump up. It might have actually worked out for them, and with a Molotov strike into ladder room, they're going to be able to confirm that no one is there to be able to counter out Jerry, and Jerry's moved through in towards the back of CT spawn. The problem is that his teammates have fallen in the meanwhile, so now to 3-on-5, significantly more difficult to actually close out upon, with the bomb being so far away as well. That bomb, however, Zort is going to circle back to apartments and try and rotate in from there. Everything hinges on Jerry. Can he find the first kill over here? Because Fiku's looked around. Fiku, however, will not be checked yet. Jerry's trying to clear the angle, and as he does so, Fiku looks away that very same second. Jerry's looking for another kill, lines it up, and Fiku's the next shot in. ferLeN now will at least collect on one, but the bomb is allowed to cross over. Zorte makes his way through, jumps down, and it can be planted. A 2-on-3 with MHL low.
But these players low on the bomb site here on the side of forZe, they can't reposition into the apartments. They have to commit to the bomb site. And with market control deep here for Jerry, it comes down to a lot of his positioning. He tries to swing out wide. They're all grouped up together here on the side of AGO. And Jerry might just do it all. 3 kills so far, a 4th round the corner. And it's a wide swing in from Lemon that will stop the catastrophe that could have come through via the Jerry flank. It's still 3 up. It's still clean sheets here on the CT side.
And you just start to wonder what would have happened in this round if kenzY hadn't have gone down there. He thought he needed to get that information. He thought he needed to start to get a bit more aggressive. But by walking in at such a crucial place where Jerry had just found that space, and yeah, you just saw how incredibly terrified Fiku was in that position. But one more player, this looks completely different. Great job by ferLeN as well, by the way, to actually find that kill on the apartments crossover to turn into a 3-on-2 in the first place.
Yeah, that was always going to be the difficulty there with the Jerry flank, is that it would be hard to recognize that there were 3 players even close to that B-bomb site. Had it been a traditional setup from AGO, that's a kind of an easier round there for forZe. They get into a 3-on-3 in the post plan. And then after that, they can really have their pick of the litter. So with that bomb plant, they have brought forward a rifle. It is in Jerry's hands. He's the only person who's gotten any kills so far on forZe. They're supposed to have a team of young stars, and Jerry is the one that shone the most somehow. Can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you can teach the young dogs, I suppose. Old dog leading by example.
Quite sure how many tricks they've learned given the score so far.
Also, Jerry's not that old, so.
Yeah. How old is he? Isn't he like 27?
Now you're fact-checking me.
My bad, Michael. I didn't realize that we're doing politics over here. No fact-checking allowed. Lemon, though, what a trade. Deagle to catch him out. MHL now watching out for anything to come through, but the only thing he's going to spawn is a white screen. Flashman to force him back, and now they're hoping to aggress just a little bit more into CT spawn. Hold that dumpster position. Norway, if he white swings into this, it could be tricky, but MHL peeking in is certain death as well. But a missed shot, and Norway's capitalized off of it. Now, MHL is so much more scared of peeking in. Shelfie's there to cover as well. Zorte's got another, and Fiku's isolated on short. A tap is nice to see, but it's just consolation for a lost prize.
Oh my goodness, how have they pulled this off again? It's one rifle. We saw a round like this from AGO on their T side of Ancient, where they were able to get so much impact off of the Galil, but it's not even the weapon that they buy into that finds all that impact. It's just that advanced CT spawn push with all of these Deagles, just finding trade after trade, and MHL, these are terrible misses. You cannot afford to have these slip by, because you saw the advantages that were allowed there for forZe as a result of that. He missed out 2 potential freebies before that retake really got underway. Wasn't supposed to be a round they win. It really wasn't.
It should have been an easy one for AGO, that is for sure. But I feel like we've said that before, Michael, and right now I hope that AGO don't let that get to their heads.
And I'll emphasize, forZe need this win. He's still contesting a slot in the relegation stages even. The moment they're in the red, they're in the ninth position. Group B doesn't have to worry about that. Eternal Fire just tapped out before the season even started. forZe don't want to be a dead team.
Absolutely not. AGO, however, would like to make it so they're not a dead horse, because forZe just keep beating them from the previous map. Question is, can they stop that over here? Can we get some necromancy going on? 40 seconds, still no commitment anywhere. There's a mid double peek coming in. kRaSnaL's got backup though, and Lemon is going to be able to make this a 5v3. Sharpie, quick swipe in, and he is going to be caught on the drop down. kRaSnaL and Lemon have managed to make this round work for them perfectly, and with zorTe still so far away, lurking on top middle as he has been time and time again, it's all down to Jerry. We'll find the first, and that's important, but as he's going to be trailing forward to get the bump planted in, zorTe's not in position, and ferLan can cut him off as well. I have to say, I've been a little bit unimpressed by zorTe's positioning so far, Michael. I know it's early days, but in this default, if you're going to be holding top mid for so long with the AWP, I'm going to be raising some eyebrows.
Yeah, it has to be a timer on it at some point or another to actually go and help your teammate, because Jerry was just left out on an island, and before he knew it, he was getting swung from 3 different directions, so never going to survive getting that plant down. Great opening shot here for MHL, peeking into mid just before that mid smoke bloomed. You could see AGO have been very fixated on controlling that position, and Lemon does let one slip on by, but Norway doesn't survive for that much longer, and Shalfie will meet the same fate. That's the bomb dropped on this A-bomb site. There should be no real issues from here on out here from AGO. They know where the package is. They spotted one of these players, kenzY, brought to low HP. About making sure that zorTe cannot bring that AWP forward, because it was a hero investment that's found nothing so far.
Yeah, I don't really know if I quite like that hero investment on the other side, especially with how zorTe's sort of been playing this one out. At least he's able to find one over here, and that is going to be some security bot, but with a minute left, and the CTs, you know, like they might want to take out this AWP. At the very least, they could find a few extra kills, and CT money isn't great, so there's that going for you.
The big thing is that they now know that forZe have this AWP, so they have the option if that's really their main focus. But yeah, there's a lot of time on the clock, so they're maybe even considering the fact that forZe could still go for this. They're playing it safe. And I have no qualms with this. Like, forZe, sure, they've gone with this hero investment. zorTe is not going to reap the rewards of the additional utility you would have been able to buy up as a result of the loss bonus. Sure, he's saving more with this AWP, but had they not bought it into this round, then it would have been a full belt for him. So AGO will chill out. Comfortable with the 5-1 start.
And the thing over here is that, you know, Michael and I have obviously, we've had this discussion behind closed doors about how a hero op that is bought in with the priority of saving is something that's definitely sort of viable on a couple of players. For me,
more CT side, I feel like, than
yeah,
T.
that's true. That's 100% true. But even on T side, hell, even on CT side, either side, I feel like you do sort of need to go for a very severe shift in individual playbook if you are going for a hero op. Like, you need to put it in a position where it can actually find something. If you're gonna get a hero op and play default lurking, I'm definitely critical of that. And kRaSnaL. It might as well be utility damage because he gets it without seeing anyone through that smoke, but even so, a kill and about 100 and some damage on top of it, that's quite nice.
This is a player underneath him as well, but it's all about whether he wants to chase or not. zorTe is actually coming to reinforce, but knife out. Wasn't expecting kRaSnaL to still be lingering around. fGold, meanwhile, is dealing with A-side progress as well. Another 2-on-5 that forZe will have to bail themselves out of, and this time I feel like they'll want to commit to this. Balance out the economy in some respects. It's just so hard when Nori and kenzY haven't exactly gotten off to confident starts either to incentivize them to go for these picks. Really good stuff here so far from AGO. Not only are they winning this opening duel pretty consistently, now they're also as well pretty quick on the way that they're supporting one another, especially in this mid fight where forZe have been putting a lot of emphasis there themselves. Not falling victim to any pacier rounds here from this T side. Only round forZe have gotten has come courtesy of a half investment.
Oh, kenzY wants Alaman over here, but you know, it's sort of the same thing all over again, which is you've put yourself in a situation with, even as two, you're not even in a great position to find some, you know, kills onto the CT side. kRaSnaL, how does he get that? How do you find that? Nori, that's the punish that you were looking to see from kenzY as well. kenzY's really not been having the best of times, and with 5 seconds left, Norway's going to pick up the AWP and try and save it into the next, but that, I mean, CTs don't contest it. They don't have anyone nearby enough on the B bomb side to go for the flank in, but yeah, man, like that saved op, it's just not giving the value. Zorte really needs to potentially change up some of what he's doing here.
I think just in general, forZe are losing too much in the opening 15-20 seconds of a round for them to really compose themselves for what they want to do. You know, they typically want to grind the clock down to a decent position. I know Jerry is actually a pretty solid in-game leader in terms of how he is dynamic about his pacing his calls. So likes to go for a rush every now and again, but this is an opening now for forZe. So one of the few instances we're finding them in an advantage at the start of a round, courtesy of an AWP. One that was saved on over in that last round, so starting to get the rewards for it. And Jerry wins his fight as well in the apartment, so now an M4 recovered.
Adrio is also going to be feeling a little bit more pressure to stack onto a bomb site, so you can see MHL is considering maybe moving back onto it. I mean, honestly, at this is the point where I really feel like you're going back to stack and potentially save meta. Obviously, that is still, you know, that's fallen out of favor to some extent because of the CT changes that have come through. Furlan, important kill to find, and off the back of this, maybe MHL can get a bit more aggressive, take a peek down towards short and get another frag. If he does find when you're back in a 3-on-3, and forZe will have lost every advantage they had, and Fiku, well, says I don't need an op to get that done.
Rifle picked up and recovered. kenzie's looking to rendezvous with the rest of his squad in this middle position. Oh, but back exposed. Zorte not expecting MHL to just be taking and challenging the fight towards top con, and kenzie's been brought down low as well, courtesy of the spam. MHL just needs to stay alive, allow for reinforcements, but he's taking the duels instead. It will be traded in from Shalfie, but has to get this bomb planted, and opts to recover the M4. Does have enough time to get this one down.
A 1-on-2. It's still going to be so difficult. Fiku on the other side has an op, and you're going to be having spam coming in from Furlan as well. Fiku! Oh, brutality. 7th round secured for AGO, and man, I'm just sort of sitting here wondering what's going on in the forest camp. You can't go to a 5-on-3 and then suddenly find yourselves in positions where you can just be solo picked off with no one to trade. It's Terracide, you are, like, that's simply not permissible. You know, over here, Jerry gets caught out in a position where, sure, the deagle can swing out from behind, but it's not like you can actually hard commit in. That's not a solid trading spot to be in. That's not a solid trading path to be in. Similarly, over to Connector, you don't have anyone there to try and punish MHL for taking that peek down under. And maybe they made the call that, yeah, it could be a B stack, but even so, this is just... this is really lackluster from forZe on their terrorist side right now.
Yeah, it pales in comparison to some of the talking points we're actually bringing away from the CT side of Ancient, where they were actually in great positions to trade very frequently, but even with a heavy man advantage, forZe don't prioritize it for whatever reason. So the 1-for-1 exchange at the start of this one, peering in was Norway. Didn't have a lot of support alongside him, but still an equal trade is exactly what they'll call for. But kRaSnaL, meanwhile, has dealt with that mid-pressure that kenzie was hoping to bring to the table. And it's only Shalfie that will be able to peruse this connector position, but Furlan's there in a watchful eye. They are very spread on these forZe attacks, and almost each and every time we're seeing players getting caught with their backs exposed. Kind of slow creep into positions that AGO do not anticipate, but we're finding that, in fact, they do.
Zorte is 3-6 across what is now going to be 9 rounds as well. This is...
He's not been aggro-opping. I don't think it's fair to only to highlight that. I think it's just forZe's game plan in general is broken down so many times.
I mean, I was about to pair that into it as well, which is that you can see that he isn't getting to be the first person making, sort of the opening contact. I from how they're playing, I might imagine maybe it's Jerry wants to do a little bit more of that at times, even though he's been very good alive late rounds. Hold the point though, because Jerry's moved past, and MHL, he hovers too long. Lemon has to be the one to strike in, and with 15 seconds, he's dropped the bomb. Knows that it's now Jerry's prerogative to move in. Jerry will find the kill and pick up the bomb. He can get it planted fast enough to try and secure this round. It's a 1-on-2, but with double Molotovs coming over, Jerry's been forced out. Does get one, but not the second.
He swung out into the Molotovs as well. Like, Jerry's a madman. Never going to work out if that's the case. As soon as he took 1 point of damage, slowed too much. But still enough that forZe were able to claw this one back to at least a contestable position. Like, this is a very winnable round here for Jerry because both of these players were low enough. Only 2 bullets was needed. But just too much utility. AGO not feeling the pressure elsewhere on the map to pull those Molotovs out of their hands. And a forZe timeout, I would only assume. I mean, what's happening today? AGO dropping their own map pick in a pretty considerable margin. Now AGO putting up a good fight on forZe's.
I'm still a little bit flustered and a little bit bewildered because here's the thing: I love missing Jerry. I love his interviews. I really have enjoyed forZe over the years, especially the previous iteration, which obviously did grow to such heights. You know, I think ranked 13 in the world is where they peaked, maybe 12 even. But I'm really struggling to see a T side from them right now. And sure, that's clearly reflected in the score, but it's not even like they're overly competitive in these rounds beyond an individual play coming in. And kRaSnaL right now, he's traded out. Le Mans already there. He's been on fire so far. It's a 2 for 2, but with forZe adding another to the tally and kenzY being as low as he is, not necessarily the best position to find yourselves a minute and a half into the round.
So many forZe 2vx's, and none of them have worked. Is this finally the time that one pulls through? Zorte, you know, there's a lot of time on the clock, still holding into that mid position, and AGO have liked re-aggressing in this area, especially for information. We've seen time in, time out, Furlan, Fiku, finding players in the back, especially as they're repositioning, but Zorte has given up his spot, and MHL has gone for a bit of a wonder himself. Fiku actually dropping in towards the window, but MHL had the slim line as well, so now it's only kenzY, 9 HP, and forZe is simply going to hide, wait for that plant to come in, and kenzY doesn't seem any the wiser. Smoke down, and as soon as he taps that one out, forZe actually getting caught, repositioning, trying to play around that smoke. kenzY actually still on for this one, but Fiku's in from behind too quick, and AGO will continue this good form here on the CT side, even when things get a little close towards the tail end of some of these rounds. With 2 players alive, AGO are going to be comfortable consistently trading like it. We see how close this is to the precipice. AGO's money is heavily strained even when they're on this hot streak, but they are almost always in the driving position.
It always is this like 1vx or 2vx scenario from forZe, which is like, oh my god, they're kind of doing it there. You can see it in your mind's eye, but the fact that we've had that happen like 5 times so far is really just not it. The only win they've had is off the back of Deagle swarming the A-bomb site, which funnily enough might have been the only round where they've also gone together anywhere. Outside of the double push into Palace in the previous, which did just get caught out. kRaSnaL over here, he's cut down one of the AKs already. Maybe it's the Deagles that can get something done. kRaSnaL, however, would like to stop that from happening. He's finding a lot of damage, but not all the kills. MHL backlines will be peeked into, but pulls out a pistol. It's Jerry to overrun him. Regardless, a 2-on-3 once again. forZe in a 2vx, but Jerry straight through the smoke will be a little bit unfair.
And Shalfie's up close as well. Le Mans is waiting for this exact push, and if Shalfie oversteps, this is an easy one for Le Mans. He's considering other options, but the shadow gives him up, and so it has to be Jerry, the in-game leader, to try and clutch things out, and he's got the ult to make it work.
He's been in this situation so many times over, and with a grenade on the other side, it's going to be deadly. However, that grenade's been dropped. Jerry finds Fiku and knows where the last player is as well. Jerry's got to find this kill, and as he moves right past, finally, is he able to make one of these 1vx's work for him. 4 kills on the man, 12 in the game so far. forZe will find the second round, but man, is it always going to be these half buys to do it?
I mean, if that's going to be the saving grace here for forZe, it has to be. And I talked a little bit about how that money was kind of on the edge there for AGO. They shouldn't have enough for a full buy, and so they'll have to go for the save. This actually opens up an opportunity now for forZe to come back in some capacity. Double underpass push via USPs. Le Mans does have a Zeus, so if he somehow nestles himself into a corner,
lightning,
I'd be all here for it. It's been a shame because AGO have played a pretty solid CT half, but you see how dangerous it can be consistently going for these fights and these trades, allowing so many 2vx's to come down to 2v2s.
Oh, Jerry. Just gets run down by the pistols. Normally you get Oppas having that happen to them, but obviously not the ideal scenario regardless. Piku in the meanwhile moves straight past. kenzie's there to intercept him. He's not had a great game so far, so good for him to be able to get a couple of confidence building kills, and that Zeus will not be able to find anything. Lemon instead has to try and do it old-fashioned. Great set of exchanges puts them in the advantage, but kenzie is quick to recover and move on for a little bit more. Reload necessary. Shalfie with a drop bomb in front of him will be able to move back in to pick an AK in the hands of kRaSnaL as well as Kevlar. This could get dangerous. forZe cannot commit to this bomb plant in. Flashbang gets shot down. A couple more picked up. Shalfie's got the utility necessary to move forward. kenzie, very cute angle, but it's Shalfie to actually get the kill that allows him to move back onto the bomb side. 1-on-2 for kRaSnaL.
So low. They are both so low, so this is very doable here for kRaSnaL. It's all about whether they commit to a double swing or not. First pick in there from Shalfie, and he'll find it. That extra damage that kenzie was able to do to him as they were covering Shalfie on the cross was enough. And even after going from a star round, Jerry, he was that first casualty, but this is a very costly round considering this is effectively a full save here from AGO. Outside of that one bit of armor, I think they had a deagle as well. Very light there from AGO, so you can see that even when the teams have these advantages, how close these rounds can be. It hasn't been clean. I'll say AGO have been more effective, but clean has been outside of the argument.
Important kill to find on to Jerry as well. He's been so single-handedly, seemingly sometimes, pulling across forZe, but right now a swarm through onto B they go. Norby's been hovering around for maybe a bit too long, though. It gives him time to rotate a few players in, and kRaSnaL now spotted out, forced off by a few shots to the feet. Piku's also tagged up in the meanwhile, but it's not a kill had so far, and they're losing too many players. kRaSnaL is the one delivering a swift death to them. Back to a 2-on-3. This time a flashbang deep will mean MHL. Oh my god, it just speaks fast. It is just chaos all over it. Bomb can be planted as a result of those smokes shot down, but a double swing in from short will find nothing so far. A peek forward, Shalfie there to trade, but trades won't work. You're in a 1-on-2. Shalfie needs to get this duel out. Turns around at the right time. Shalfie! 4 kills for him, and I guess if you can't do it with a team, you can do it alone.
Oh my goodness, another 4K here for forZe to come out on top, and it's this B bomb site clutch potential that these players have expressed so far. Shalfie not only putting himself in a position where he could have been shot from 2 angles, but then he just kept on trailing forward on that first fight. And that quick adjustment on the 180 knew exactly where the last player was coming from. Certainly some sharp aim, but it has still been a scrappy game overall. This time, Jerry will not get overrun. He has the Mac 10 to farm up the cash, and even players running right past him. Jerry's been very good at adjusting on those 90-degree flicks. Oh, he does full victim, though. Jumping in, and while his teammates will clean up the rest, forZe are fully recovering this T side in probably one of the most unimaginable ways possible.
Oh, yeah. And let's not forget, the second they get to CT side, all the problems that we're talking about, how they split apart, this and that, yada, yada, yada. Zorte can't get aggressive because of how the system is structured around him. That's all vanishing. Double smoke down for the cross off top mid isn't ideal, though. Shalfie gets a lot of good damage with Piku's the one with the kill. MHL following up as well, setting up nicely for the 10th round. AGO will, at the very least, secure double digits. But Nori, maybe he's still got something to say about it. 4Ks are not 5, though, and he won't quite be able to get it done. 10-5, we're off to a short break, and when we're back, it'll be forZe trying to claw it back from 5.
I know my psyche, cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah. I lost myself today trying to find ways to make you stay. Sarah.
It's all a bit topsy-turvy here in forZe vs AGO, both trailing in their own respective map picks. AGO had a terrible start to Ancient. forZe, similar stories here on that second map, but AGO, they bounced back in that mentality discussion we were talking about before. Of course, joining me on the microphone is Tea Time, and here on this second half, we'll have to see if AGO can keep up that momentum or whether forZe will be able to trail things back here on the CT side.
Norway actually going for the full save in the best run. They're really heavily prioritizing getting an early op up, and they have zero utility for this one. So going for a retake is incredibly bold, but that's still the strategy they've opted for. kenzi gooshed up initially. Zarde quick frag on a kRaSnaL. At least make it into a 5v4. So utility or not, it's Shalfie to stop them from getting into jungle for free. Norway even comes back in. Trades are working out for the CTs, and Fiku's been forced off. He's all alone. Doesn't want to end up being put into a bad position, but that might be too late for it. Fiku still finding his way out of it. Another kill to be found. A one-on-one still here, and Zorte without the kit. Le Mans in the perfect position. Zorte is going to be expecting him to be inside a main, but Le Mans from the side has missed his shots. Even so can recover. AGO find 11.
Really dangerous round there, especially with Le Mans missing those opening shots, but Fiku does so much work, not only dealing with those players in towards jungle, but keeping them busy long enough that really the options are limited in terms of how you can clear things out in the one-on-one, and so it tees up Le Mans beautifully. Not for the fact that Fiku stood his ground. That could have been a forZe retake successful. And their woes will continue here on their map pick. AGO, another pistol round one, another hot start, certainly on the cards. The only real saving grace is the way that forZe came back into the game was off of these half buys, these clutches. AGO were far more composed, and we'll see if they have similar issues. I think we see a lot of parity between these teams in terms of some of their failings, especially on the T sides. I think forZe might be a little too far gone, though.
It's going to continue that half by success overhead. Jerry's good for only one right now. A lot of the rounds from the first half from forZe were off the back of Deagles and the like. Norway's Farmers also delivering them a couple of key moments, but Fiku right now will make short work of it and his brother and Sorte.
Another 3k here for Fiku, and another round win for AGO. Looked real sharp to start off this T-side half. Just resetting the spray here. Nice and easy. So here's the thing. You know, we've talked a lot about Jerry and his playmaking capabilities. You know, likes to be at the forefront of the action. We'll see a lot of in-game leaders kind of transition into entry roles to some capacity. Jerry has to step up in the same way that he was so disruptive on Ancient to the AGO CT side, or T side rather. Otherwise, it feels like AGO are just going to get too much accomplished, even in rounds like this, you know, finding kills via spam. Where is the Jerry reaction? Does he have as much in his playbook to actually bring them forward in rounds like this? Because at the moment, we haven't seen too much initiative from these younger players here on the side of forZe, especially when things have gotten dicey.
I mean, that playbook was necessary to be sort of opened up in T-side, but I don't know if it was even looked at this point. Jerry's down as well. And even though he is, of course, statistically the best performer on forZe right now, make no mistake about it, a lot of those situations, he was just one of the last players alive every time on the T side, and made it scrappy, made it competitive. Did have a couple of good rounds and clutches, don't get me wrong, but yeah, definitely slightly padded on those stats. Zorte hoping to get another opportunity for a gun round sooner rather than later. Norway's got a nice one, but that's only one. But that, you head into the next phase. forZe have to win out this gun round, otherwise AGO are basically just locked it out completely.
Something's... I've got a crystal ball in front of me, and it's telling me Inferno. Maybe next on the
but
menu.
is it predicting hell for bad in-game leaders, or is it just like Inferno map?
No, just in front of the map.
Okay, fair enough.
I
Because
don't know.
I was gonna be like, I don't know why you're like really jumping to conclusions over here, Michael. Like, your crystal ball's really got to get itself checked out.
Honestly, mad surprised nobody's tried to snag Jerry. They probably have. The forZe are holding on with 2 hands.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to comment on that one right now. Probably for the best over here. Couple of utilities chucked onto teammates. At least there's one callback to Mirage over here. AGO, however, as they start to move in, they've left the bomb over on Palace. Le Mans been fantastic so far, and now that the entries come through, problem is that Fiku's death means that this bomb will likely have to rotate, and Shalfie is holding down the line. MHL, very important frag comes out, and Jerry's still keeping an eye out, but he's had his eyes poked out. kRaSnaL, bomb revealed, rotation can start to come through, and Norway's in on the bomb site.
Chance is still here for forZe. Everyone is so low here on the side of AGO, so trailing out of Palace as well is super dangerous. Now, especially since they've pumped the brakes, Norway has to investigate. Flash does nothing. It's too far over his shoulders, and he's dropped the bomb. They know exactly where the intended target is here for AGO. Norway just has to delay.
And he's been doing a great job of that, this smoke. So frustrating to play up against as well. The M4A1's always going to have an advantage around it regardless. Now, MHL all alone, a 1-on-2, and with 20 seconds, it's all fallen apart. That one kill from Jerry might have just spoiled the entire AGO call in that circumstance. And with both players now being able to collectively get together, this bomb simply cannot be planted. MHL is kept away. Time has taken down low, and they'll swing out regardless to take down MHL. Maybe would have liked to see them wait a while longer, but don't want to risk him being able to save that AK, I suppose.
Yeah, we almost saw forZe fully rotate away from this A bomb site, but once they realized that the pacing was a little bit disrupted there from AGO, that's where we started to see Jerry fully commit towards a proper A side anchor. You know, he started to realize that maybe he needs to be involved in that B-side action, but with his teammates doing a decent enough job at dealing with the initial aggression, then not to mention the fact that AGO had that presence towards bottom connector as well. Small little indicators there to keep forZe occupied both sides of the map. All that added damage certainly played a part. First round that forZe have gotten here on this second half. But all it takes is one of these moments where forZe, even if they win with 1 or 2 surviving players, see what it does to their money. They're brought down to FAMAS. FAMASes. They're running a little light on the belt.
I still feel like we need to stick to Fami.
Yeah, Fami is not really my preferred plural.
No, that's why I'm saying Fami. Don't even make it Fami. Fami makes it sound a little bit too bougie, but right now, Kenzie might have needed a boogie out of there after that first kill. Trade's good from AGO, but with that much space gained, I'm sure forZe aren't overly unhappy.
Warning shots in from kRaSnaL. Still no clear indicators here for forZe. And AGO, now that they've thought about their options for just a moment, a minute left, will look to rendezvous with kRaSnaL. I certainly got the utility to do this. 2 smokes, you know, a Molotov for some of these trickier positions to clear out, especially when you are this man down. But forZe are committed inside of the bomb site, so a little bit more difficult for these Molotovs to hit the mark.
Exodus coming through. It's all going to come down to what Jerry can get down over here. 30 seconds, and without that smoke, it's not going to be bothering them too much. There's no one in stairs, but they'll have to be more wary of that, and that means Jerry's got more space because he's managed to come in from behind. Gets 1, makes it 2, lining up for 3. Jerry has cleaned it all up, and now with the 4th found, forZe up to 7.
Oh, that
Jerry
could not have lined up more beautifully here for Jerry. That smoke actually does cause so many more issues. They have to hold to make sure that nobody's coming out towards topside connector, because that was where that smoke was supposed to land. And instead, there's massive spacing issues. Just as Jerry's about to pull the trigger on that waiting play, you know, he's lurking by the wayside for the right opportunity to strike. They just all lined up for him towards the end. Another massive round here from Jerry to keep forZe engaged in this map. Now pistols out for AGO, a couple of P250s. See if they can close that distance, close that gap. Zort at the moment, even with his AWP, is fancying fights with a USP.
Well, Kenzie maybe not cycling in between nades would be nice. He does get the first, but as he cycles away, that's not going to be working out. Shalfie as well shifts his aim over. Does adjust nicely, and at the end of it all, they keep 4 players alive. So despite some difficult circumstances, they do at the very least close out the round cleanly.
Yeah, some minor worries with how that first engagement goes. Kenzie, even though he was switching between weapons, actually got a kill. You know, he fired off 1 shot and it was a headshot before getting traded. And there's some additional room. Actually allowed Zorte to pick up an A1S as well. And get involved in the action since he was so keen. Now back to a full buy. Here on this Polish side, Furlan, a Molotov in to keep that AWPer at bay. But AGO are setting up for a burst in B.
There's a fair bit of utility over here from the CTs if they'd like to try and stop it. Le Mans, as low as he is, that one-way smoke's not going to be doing him any favors. And bam, right back from the T side. kRaSnaL in the meanwhile is trying to get something, but that is going to have to be just a bomb being planted. Not quite on default. Don't know if that'll make a difference or not, but at the very least, Fiku's still trapped in. He's not doing much either, and they will be able to maintain position. MHL doesn't spot out the CT through the gap in the smoke, although it looked like it might have been on his mind.
Ooh.
And right now, MHL just falls. Norway's plucked him out. Furlan and Fiku, though, are the ones to activate. Fiku's still alive, playing from the bench and up on short, and he knows it. Needed to hit that shot, but he's been tagged. And now with the push from the CTs and a grenade flying over, kRaSnaL's left alone. A 1-on-2, a double peek coming in, but the second is a bit slow, and kRaSnaL will punish.
Oh, how many times are we going to see clutches on this B bomb site? This time it's kRaSnaL. 1 pillar is all that stood between him and success, and he just waits for his right opportunity to strike. Here's these players pacing into this, trying to get themselves on the defuse, and it's just a quick 180 for each of these fights. It's only fair that AGO pull through in a massive clutch like it, considering how many times we saw forZe revitalized by their own. But that might be a nail in the coffin. Might not be the final one, but certainly contributes to finishing off the job here on Mirage. AGO are close. And I just want you to consider this, like, just it pales in comparison how quickly AGO were able to get that B bomb site and how much more free it was. They do so and keep 4 players up. We never saw forZe get an advantage like that on their T side.
All the 2vx's.
Yeah.
Jerry and Zorda, between the two of them, they're able to find themselves the initial kill at the very least. So forZe, this is still a situation where they can try and make it all work out, but we'll have to wait to see.
Still checking their options, see if forZe reinvestigate. That will not be the case. They back themselves away from that mid control, and while that is some open territory that forZe could ascertain, we have not seen that same flexibility here on the CT side. Far less initiative taken by players, but Zorte in transition, finding kRaSnaL above the Molotov. He's another player that's picked out just before the action gets started. Party seems to be scheduled over towards B instead, and Norway is sitting right underneath that apartment's position. The smoke is a little late. They've trailed right past it, and so they're not respecting this site at all. Jerry will get here in time, though, to at least find the trade. In spite of the fact that Furlan got the entry, Jerry is here right on time. And so it's Le Mans that has to recover this one back. The bomb dropped underneath him, and too many CTs now swarming the position, but they read into how Jerry's going to reposition this. Le Mans out of the apartments, but didn't spot the player in his peripheries. It's Kenzie that set himself over towards bench, and while those digits will be dialed, the nade in Kenzie's flank will be successful. It's a 9th here for forZe.
And you could see what the idea was, just to go for a slow contact play in, hoping that they could catch off a player or two off guard. And like you said, Furlan finds the entry, but Jerry just in that great bait position where he can play off of it perfectly. And I know I say bait, and that's generally taken with a negative connotation, but that is really the perfect play to go for when the CT side, either doesn't have utility or doesn't want to expend it.
He also just got there. He did also just get there, so his feet can only move so quick. Back to pistols here for AGO. I was saying they were close to finishing this map off. And whilst that is still true, few more speed bumps along the way. Nobody spots for kRaSnaL creeping around these smokes, and so it's a backstab onto Jerry. He's going to be livid about how that's even happened. Shalfie picking one off just before they get up top con, and he does have support to deal with this. It's a slaughter, in spite of the fact that AGO got that first kill. forZe are able to adapt and recognize what's happening a little too quick.
Some good confidence coming out from the forZe players as well over there. Admittedly, obviously, it is against Glocks and they know it, but man, with how poor of a game some of these players have had, it's just good to see them sort of coming in. And Shalfie as well, getting that support from kenzY was crucial. Shalfie was just being boxed in a position where he was going to be forced to choose in between a duel from bench or a duel from the jungle peak, but kenzY just helps him out with the quick kill in the jungle as well.
Yeah, we're not taking anything for granted, I would say.
Oh yeah,
this game. with how some of these low buys have gone, some of these anti-ecos. Every round just as serious as the next.
Indeed. And right now, none might be as serious as this one, because if forZe are able to win it out, they're set up for 12 potentially, and that could be AGO starting to sweat more than maybe they are ready to. You lose out the salt, you lose out that water, you get dehydrated. But Zorte, he's hoping to decapitate Biku. Exactly what ends up happening.
He even got spotted, so a little slow to react. But furLen, he caught a nade, and kenzY finishes off the job. That earlier damage playing a part. Zorte has positioned himself over towards B, and that lurk smoke is difficult, but missing the opening engagement. Nori on the low ground, not fully cleared out, but one player jumps up high. kRaSnaL clears underneath, and so they have to concede this B bomb site, set up for the retake. AGO have a chance here.
They do maintain the man advantage, but that's a very slim advantage with kenzY's HP being where it is. Shalfie, though, very crucial kill to find, and they switch out players as well with the weapons. kRaSnaL is going to have to try and isolate out a duel from Market initially. Jerry is moving in, gets the first kill, but not expecting the second. Shalfie just peeks out, perhaps not inspecting the kill feed and recognizing that Shalfie was, of course, the one who got the previous kill. Great round from him, but yeah, that's also just a small thing to point out. And Norway missing out those shots over there is very heavily off the back of some nice, air strafing, double peek to let the player from Van actually get the swing out more effectively. Quite nice to see.
Yeah, timing really worked out in that respect, and coordinated or not, but it made things very, very difficult. Thought for a second we were going to see another kRaSnaL clutch come through on that B-bomb site, but not to be. Seems to be on the cards is a bit of pace here from AGO behind the Molotov. Jerry can't see a damn thing, but suspects that Lemon's the other side of it, maybe caught a glimpse, and he continues pushing forward. Here comes that execute now, and Zorte there to cover the retreat as well. They're getting picked apart before this execute even got started.
Nade's a bit early, but it won't matter. They can't really proceed through the smoke anyway. They don't quite feel comfortable, and Jerry's found furLen as he was waiting for the push from A-main to come through as well. Now, I mean, MHL holding the gap on the smoke that'll inevitably be there, but yeah, nothing really to find here.
Maybe I'll have to return the crystal ball, because it was prophesizing one thing, and we might just very well see another.
Michael, I told you, don't get instruments of prophecy from Amazon.
Yeah. You know what I will invest in then? Horoscopes.
Ooh.
Because those definitely tell the truth.
That's something that only a Gemini would say.
Yeah, that's true. Very Aries of you to point that out.
Well, you know what they say. Leo.
What? That's it. Just Leo.
They do say it. I don't know what it means, but,
Oh, that's not the lurk smoke you were looking for.
Pisces.
Fish.
Sorry, however.
Fake
Oh god, he just fakes. Okay, that's one way to get a 12.
I remember coming up with that in Gold Nova matchmaking, thinking that was a sick play, and Jerry bites. I didn't even see that he shot.
I think it's more just that's too big to be a gun. What is that?
Too big to be a gun, too small to be a flash. Smaller than a human, though.
In all fairness, it is also bigger than a flash, so...
Well, now proper investment here from AGO. Zorte again forward positioning alongside Jerry, but he's not there for the follow-up trade. kRaSnaL, it's a following exchange with the MHL's AWP coming through as well, but they're quicker towards this A site, and Zorte's trapped. He gets one just before falling, but AGO will have an advantage and have enough space now to plant.
Those flashes won't be working out for Norway though, but the second one, that's his own. It bounces off. Norway just lost a round off the back of that alone. MHL was never going to be able to react to it. He was scoped in for CT spawn, and if Norway hadn't missed that one out, that's a completely different story. Not to mention, even Zorte, when he's repositioning, gets a little bit confused in the exact pathing required, and he takes an extra 1.5 seconds to be able to throw out that smoke as well. Maybe just under that, but you're definitely seeing the smallest of margins for forZe that end up being their demise. Man. I mean, first of all, just starting off with a Zorte missed shot. You can excuse that. That's fine. But then a few of these utility plays really not working out for them.
Yeah, it's exactly what the aggression alongside Jerry is supposed to facilitate. Like, one can make a mistake, the other is there to compensate. But just not being able to successfully trade, you could see how quickly it got overrun as soon as AGO recognized the position that they had. Because when forZe are going for that type of aggro play, they're somewhat limited in terms of like what CT control they can contribute as well to back Zorte up. Really solid round overall there from AGO, recognizing that and applying the right amount of pressure.
The peek from Shalfie will be able to find himself that first and back off safely. Furlan does not want to try and get the trade. Worried about the backup coming in potentially.
I'm wondering if... Yeah, kenzY was looking to line up a smoke, but then recognized that there was already one down. Could have been a waste, but instead, Norway will actually find a great timing to push in towards the B apartments. At the moment, AGO haven't fully cleared out either position. Instead, they're opting to reconvene through middle. And Norway could have a great time here. If they don't pull the trigger on a fast up con towards A play, Norway could just backstab them to all hell. forZe already stacked. They're already leaning towards the A site because they know that B's clear.
Nice flashbang down under. Shalfie peeks out off the back of it, and they won't be able to aggress in from behind. Shalfie actually in front of him. The player drops down. That could have been a big win. Norway, though, that's an even bigger one. Finds two on the flank. Like you said, it was always going to be deadly, but forZe, that's a beautifully played round. Just off the back of that aggression, finding all the information necessary, and a flashbang down mid just to see where exactly the AGO aggression was going to come in from. The only way forZe was going to lose that one out was if they misread into it and thought, hey, maybe it's an A main hit or a palace hit, and got caught off guard by mid, but they're checking all possible situations.
They run a lot on util. Look at the pace here from AGO instead, but they eat a nade.
And a lot of molly damage as well. Second nade flying through as well. Will not be leaving them healthy. At least kRaSnaL's good for the trade. But Zorte's still alive, and no flashes to force him off means that this is his playground. But can he get on the swings? Misses out an opportunity. Molotov forces him back. Smokes himself off in the meanwhile. Fiku and MHL, both with AKs, trying to move on to the bomb site. But nearby is kenzY. He's lying in wait. Any sort of information given over to him, he will pounce like a viper. And that viper is going to need to come through, but MHL all alone. Near Tetris, and the bricks are going to fall down on top of him. 14-15, AGO. You thought their money was bad in the previous one? Watch out for this time.
Yeah, another spot where they're going to basically have to run as light as you could possibly imagine. They invested every penny into this round, understanding that they were on max loss bonus. They would likely get the same sort of investment in the fallout round, so they're hedging their bets. But yeah, you called it. Look at how much lighter. No more Molotov. No, they had at least a full nade set on one of the players. Not a liberty they'll be able to express in round 30. And kenzY just out in the open. Slight off angle in towards window. Good damage and a follow-up kill as well. He just keeps on swinging. The flash as well is too effective. And it's Norway that hits the deck as a result. He was trying to help his teammate out.
And kenzY, it even looked like he was trying to get the space for Norway in that situation. But like you said, the flashbang even catching him out to some extent. Zorte. Oh, Fiku's found Jerry, cuts him down. Fiku's going in for a bit more. And now forZe are falling apart. kenzY at the very least gets one, but the trade is too good. Fiku is doing it all on his own. Up to 23 now, equaling the tally of Le Mans. And Shalfie, this 1-on-3 could not look harder.
The rifle at his feet, so he has the option to swap on out. Molotov and a smoke as well could make things a little bit easier in terms of negating some of these angles. The moment we just want to be glued to what Shalfie's up to. Jumping window, Fiku is close by, might have heard the step.
Finds himself the first, switches out for the AK as well, entering through. Still very difficult round to make this one work out. Smoke on the bomb, but time's running low. Peaks likely to come through soon, and Furlan to close it out. AGO will find themselves the 16th, but man, does it get close to the end of it.
Yeah, and we saw some great highlights here overall in the second half. We started off with Jerry sort of inspiring his team, getting that 4K. We saw the clutch as well in from kRaSnaL. We had some great moments.